Hey guys, so I'm going to jump right in here. I did film an intro, but my air conditioner was on in the background and I didn't realize it would be that loud. So just starting with priming my eyes, I'm using the Urban Decay Original Primer. So just applying that to both lids, spreading it around with my fingers. Then I'm going to jump in, I'm just going to use concealer. So I'm going to dab that concealer on either side and then just use the Beauty Blender to spread that out. Next, I'm going to set that concealer and then I'm just using a NYX single eyeshadow and it's in the shade Rebirth. It's just a very light pink just to set that concealer on my eyelids. Okay, next up is the fun part. So I'm going to go in with a Morphe shadow and it is the shade Ocean Frost, and that's what's going to be pretty much my base color. So I'm just going in with like a standard brush and I'm applying that to all over my lid, and then I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to pack a little bit more on just kind of the lid just to bring out that color. You definitely wouldn't get this shade of blue if you didn't set your eyes with concealer, just because the concealer makes like an even toned lighter backdrop. You could use like an eyeshadow base or something, but I definitely wouldn't go in with primer and like a translucent powder to set. So yeah, just applying that to all over my lid and then packing it on with like a slightly flatter brush just on my lid so I get more of that shade showing through. Next, I'm going to go in with a super fluffy brush, and this is the Morphe M510, and I'm just going to use that kind of all over my lid just to blend it all out so that there's no harsh lines on the top of my lid, and just to kind of carry the color everywhere. Then I'm going to go in with that Milani shadow, and it is in the color Bella Navy. It's like a really, really dark navy blue with a hint of shimmer. It swatches nicely, but again, you definitely want to use that concealer under your eye to get more of the pigmentation through. So I use like a flat brush. I have one from Morphe. I have a bunch of them. So I just kind of grabbed any flat brush and applied that just directly to the crease. And then I grabbed more of a pencil tipped round brush, and that's what I use to just buff it out, and I'm applying that directly into my crease. So I'm actually kind of opening my eye and seeing where my crease folds back, and that's where I'm applying it. So my eyes are very like kind of hooded, so that's how I apply it. You'd have to see kind of where you want to place the depth, and that's where you want to put this darker shade. After I apply that darker color, I'm going to go back in with that flatter brush that I mentioned earlier and just apply a little bit more of that first shade Ocean Frost, just because I really wanted the blue to like stand out and pop, and I just felt like it just wasn't as strong as I wanted. And then I'm going to go in again with that M510 Morphe brush just to kind of give it again an all buff out, not to carry that crease color too far, just to kind of give it a little bit more of a blend. Then, almost done with the eyes, I'm going to go in with just a little bit of MAC nylon, and I'm just going to apply that to the inner corners just to kind of brighten up a little bit. Then I'm going to move on to eyeliner. So you'll see in the video there that there is like a titch of eyeliner already. I had went to use my Kat Von D Trooper eyeliner, but I realized it was out, so I had to switch after I'd done that first line, and I'm using the illuminator. I got it in my Ipsy bag. I did mention it in my intro, I talked about it, but again, I'm not putting that in because of the air conditioner, sorry. So this is one of my favorite eyeliners. It's very, very black, like you get a really good pigmentation, but the application, the way you put it on is like a felt tip, and the plastic bit above the felt tip has a lot of product on it itself. So when you're applying it, you get a lot of it onto your eyelashes, and I find that if it dries on your eyelashes, it obviously like sets and makes them hard and makes them into like a clump. So then when you go to put on your mascara, it can be really hard. So you'll see me fighting with my mascara. That's definitely not the mascara's fault. I just wanted to point out because I do love the mascara I use. But yeah, so I tend to use this one just to darken up my wing, not go over my eyelashes, just to kind of get away from that problem. But I do really like it. That's just the only problem. And that kind of happens with a lot of eyeliners if they have that certain application tool. Okay, so next up is the rest of my face. I'm just using a makeup wipe just to take away any of that fallout from that eyeshadow. So I'm going to start with priming my face. I'm using the Nivea Men's Shade Balm Insensitive. I'm applying that all over my face, just kind of avoiding the under eyes. And then I'm going to go in with the Benefit Puff Off Under Eye Primer, and I'm just applying a very small amount to either of my under eyes. This just helps with my creasing. Next, I'm going to go in with the Naked Skin by Urban Decay Color Corrector in the shade Peach. I've been using this to neutralize that kind of reddy purpley tone that's under my eyes. You'll see that just by using this, I get a good amount of coverage. So I definitely have been using this every time since, and I really like it. So just applying a small amount and then using my Beauty Blender to just blend that out the exact same way with my concealer. So So after that, I then go in with my concealer, and I use the Urban Decay Naked Skin concealer in the shade Fair. You'll also notice, mentioning this, that I'm doing this a bit backwards. I'm not doing any sort of foundation today. I'm doing a very sheer coverage. This is just what I've been doing for like the summer months. It kind of helps not feel as like dry, since I do have really dry skin. So next I'm going to go in with translucent powder under my eyes, just to set my under eyes. I've mentioned in my video about how I conceal my circles, and my creasing is so bad that I have to set my eyes right away before I set the rest of my face. So I go in and I set my eyes, and then I go back and I conceal the rest of my face. So I conceal my chin, my nose, like either side by my nostrils, my forehead, and then I just put a little bit on the bridge of my nose for a highlight. On either side of my chin, you'll see there I have a lot of redness that I deal with. So and I don't want to highlight either side. I want to just highlight the very middle of my chin. So I go in with the NARS Creamy concealer, and I just darken up this Urban Decay just because it's a little light. And if I didn't, it would be more of a highlight. So I just apply that, and then I go in with that same beauty blender and I blend all those areas out. I did not apply any powder to these areas. I kept the powder just under my eyes because you don't want to conceal with a liquid on top of the powder. Next up is dealing with the rest of my face. So I'm using this brush here that I got in my Morphe brush club, and it is the E1, so it's an elite brush, and I am in love with it. It's a very densely packed brush, and it's used for applying powders. So this is what I use to apply my MAC Mineralized Skin Powder. It definitely makes it more of a light to medium coverage if you use this brush, as opposed to just a light coverage. Just applying that to all over my face. Then I'm going to go in with some Hoola bronzer, and just applying this to the outer rim of my face, just kind of highlighting my cheekbone area, and then under my chin, and kind of like the areas you would contour. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to contour with that same Hoola bronzer, but I'm going to use the brush that it comes with. So I'm just going to do a very light contour because I'm not using foundation and making like a perfect canvas. So just applying that to under my cheekbones and along my forehead with that brush that comes with the Hoola bronzer. And then I'm going to apologize. I'm going to use that blush right there. As you can see, it's a very light pink, and I don't even think they make it anymore. I haven't seen it. It's by CoverGirl. It's True Blend in the shade 425, Pure Romance. I just wanted something very light to not take away from that blue eye. So then I'm going to go in with the Josie Maran illuminator. It's an argan illuminator, and it's liquid, similar to the Benefit High Beam. So I apply swatch of that to the back of my hand, and then I use my damp beauty blender to apply that. So putting that on the tops of my cheeks there, and then my nose, a little bit on my forehead, just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to move on to my eyebrows. So I'm using like my new favorite eyebrow product, and that's the NYX brow powders in the shade Set Blonde. So I apply a little bit of primer, and then I'm going to go in, and I'm actually just going to use the lightest shade, so it's like the blonde shade, I guess. And I'm just using a brush. I don't use the brush that it comes with. I just use my own. I kind of like that one better. So just applying that all over the natural shape of my brow, kind of giving myself a little bit more of an arch, but nothing crazy. And then I'm just going to skip right past the other eye because this is not the most fun thing to watch. So after my eyebrows, I'm going to put some dark black eyeliner into my waterline, and I'm using the Bella Pierre gel eyeliner, and it is in the shade Ebony. I believe I got this in my Ipsy bag, so I don't even know where you can pick this up. So I'm just applying this to my waterline just to kind of bring in that blackness to counteract the eyeliner on top. So I would just apply that to either side of my eyes. After that, I'm going to put in more of that Ocean Frost shade, and that's what I'm going to use to smoke out my bottom lash line. So I'm just using that same shader brush that I used for that darker shade on the upper eyes, and the same pencil brush. So I go back in with that pencil brush, pick up a bit more of that product, and then that's what I smoke it out with. Next up is mascara, and I'm going to use the Josie Maran Argan Black Oil Mascara. I've been using this lately, and I've really liked it. It doesn't dry out and kind of flake off. It just gives me a nice black, kind of like it seems oily. I just really like it. So that's the mascara that I'm using today, and you'll see again me fighting with those lashes, but that's just on the eyeliner like I mentioned before, and I'm applying that to both my top and bottom lashes. Then I could see when I was looking closer in the mirror that smoking out my bottom lash line had kind of pulled that gel eyeliner, so I just go back in and add another swipe of that. Next up is my lips, and I am using the Gerard Cosmetics collaboration with Milani, and it's in the shade Serenity. Just applying that all over my lips. I did do a little bit of overlining, but nothing crazy. And then again, I just wanted a color that wasn't too crazy, that didn't pull away from the eye, since that is the main focus on this look. And then that's everything. That's the whole look. Please mind my messy hair. I hope that you guys liked it. Let me know what you think below. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Bye guys!